Well, good afternoon and welcome to Orient Live. It's the second of three very tough away games for the O's as we arrive in Bolton ahead of this afternoon's fixture, fresh from that European International Tour of Wales on Tuesday night, where an upset that Hollywood couldn't even write a script for. The O's are looking to continue their fine run of form with just one loss since the start of December in the league. With the O's in the playoff spot, we are looking to build on that and hopefully cement that spot as well. And we're delighted this afternoon to have a very special guest in the studio. We've got Andrew Butler, but of course Orient royalty. It's Omar Beckles. Omar, welcome. Thank you for joining us. What all the fans will be desperate to know, of course, is how you're doing, how you're holding up.
No, well, thanks for having me. Firstly, I guess I'm on the mend. All is going well so far, so good. It's not been ideal to be in this predicament. I'm more often than not out on the pitch, available. So I've been adjusting, like in myself internally. I'm like finding it really hard to rest. But yeah, it's a necessary stage that I have to go through, learning a lot through this process, learning a lot about my body. But yeah, it's been a smooth process so far. So long may that continue, and hopefully I'll be joining the lads for a promotion push.
Does it make it easier watching from the sidelines when the boys are doing so good?
It's never easy for me on the sideline, honestly. Like I get more nervous watching games than I do like actually playing them. But it's been amazing to see the boys are still doing well and they're maintaining that momentum. I think this time round we've got obviously the strength in depth that we didn't have probably in previous seasons. So, we're in a good place. So hopefully we can maintain that and leave ourselves in a good position to hopefully, go for it.
And we've only got just under half an hour, but we could spend the next 28 minutes waxing lyrical about Tuesday night and that performance against Wrexham. But it is going to fill us with confidence. It's still fresh in everyone's mind. What a night it was, and we take that into today, don't we?
Yeah, it was an amazing night. I mean, in a season full of high points, that was right up there as well. I mean, we could list all the incredible games, the victories we've had. We've had pretty much two in the last week, really, when you include what happened here last Saturday as well. So having that on Tuesday was a phenomenal win. Credit to the fans who made an incredibly long journey at the last minute as well. We should always remember that the game was scheduled with only 8 days' notice. So to pull not just the victory, but that type of performance that made a Wrexham team who are flying high look, I think, distinctly average. And after the game, I listened to some Wrexham fans talking about the way that we set up, and they said that we were the best team that they've seen this season, and that includes Birmingham, which is high praise indeed. But also, we now feel. I mean, we've looked like a confident team for a long time, but it's those kind of wins that mean that we can take that confidence into games like today, which is always going to be a difficult fixture, Bolton away. But we now look like we believe it as well. I mean, I don't think that we've ever not looked like we've believed it, but it feels like we've got a very, very good squad of players who now suddenly think, you know what, we're right in the mix and we deserve to be.
Well, Richie does have the boys flying at the moment, and we're going to take a look at the starting lineup very, very shortly. But first, let's hear from the main man himself. It's the gaffer. It's Richie Wellens. Studio.
Bolton change manager recently, Stephen Schumacher in charge there now. What can we expect from them?
Yeah, maybe a slight change in system, a slight change in probably different tactically, but probably a bit more aggressive. But I think time not had too many games. The games they've had, they score goals, but they concede goals. So I don't think we've seen a true influence yet. I watched the game at Huddersfield and I thought he was different to what they have been the last few years. I thought he was dogged, determined, very good out of possession. So I don't think that, Ian Evatt was there a long time. He had a distinctive style which was successful, and he won more games than he lost. But I don't think Shuey's had enough time yet to really stamp his. And especially with the schedule, the schedule's so bad for everybody that I think it's really difficult to get on a training ground and really stamp your authority yet. One thing they have got is they've got good players, good squad, big squad, so he's got a lot of options.
And lastly, and as always, message on the fans, Dave. Those who were there Tuesday and will be there Saturday will have racked up a lot of miles, a lot of expense. Just a message for those guys who are...
Yeah, the expense and the time is worth it at the moment because they're enjoying themselves, having a great time. They have a set of players that they can connect with and recognise when they're giving their all for the club, not just in terms of attitude and mentality, but also the quality that we're showing. Some of the goals we're scoring is really, really good. So keep it going. It was really difficult the other night because I think it was a week before. You know, it's difficult for us. We don't realise that we've got Wrexham in that part of the schedule, and then all of a sudden we have to adapt to get to rest players before, after, and try and fit that Wrexham game into the schedule. So for the supporters at late notice, to obviously the club are great putting on travel, but to have a day off work or whatever it may be and get up there to support us was a magnificent effort. That was on a Tuesday night. I hope they can do it again. And like I always say, if they put the effort in, we'll do our very best to give them a good result, a good travel up and back, and then a good weekend following.
What a job Richie is doing. But right then, without further ado, let's take a look and remind ourselves, or even take a look at how the O's are shaping up as we go on the hunt for another 3 points, which put a little bit of breathing room between ourselves and Bolton, who are just a few places below us. But starting in goal, it's Super Josh Keeley. Across the back line, at left back, we have Jack Curry, with Ethan Galbraith playing on the opposite side of defence. Brandon Cooper and Romani Edmonds-Green shape up in the middle of the defence, with Jack Simpson and Dan Happy both carrying slight knocks. Jordan Brown starts in the midfield alongside today's captain Don Ball, the hero with that header on Tuesday night. And the four attackers of Randall Williams, Jamie Donley, Azim Abdullahi, all playing in behind Charlie Kelman up top. And on the bench for the O's is Noah Phillips, Jaden Sweeney, Dan Adji, Sonny Perkins, Jalang Jayasimi, Zach Abirio and Dylan Markanday. So it's no real surprise that there's been a couple of changes here. I mean, this block of 3 away fixtures, a lot of travelling, a lot of football being played and a lot of hard tasks.
Yeah, obviously a shame to see Jack Simpson hobble off on Tuesday. Dan Happy obviously doesn't make the squad either today. Hopefully those are only very, very short-term things. So the main question marks, not that I have any cause for concern over there, is the Edmonds-Green and Cooper centre-back pairing, because they've not played together so far since Reg has joined the club. So that is the one main thing that we probably have to look out for this afternoon. But every time we've had things like this happen so far this season, I mean, I've mentioned it a couple of times over the course of the season, it looks like we can just kind of place a new player back in those positions, and everyone seems to be so coherent and know what they're doing, and it will be probably a similar proposition with Don Ball in the midfield. Darren Pratley obviously suspended from Tuesday evening, so he comes into the team. But it seems like such a good unit of players and such a good squad that you can take out Sonny Perkins, put Abdullahi in there and take Randall Williams and switch that around. And so, I mean, it's exciting because we're on such a good run of form, and Bolton also do concede goals. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
We'll come on to that very shortly, but let's keep our focus on that centre-back position, because it is the one that maybe is a bit of a surprise. Dan Happy did travel, but was pulled out late on, and typical really. We had clips and we were going to discuss just how good he's been of late.
Yeah.
Jack Simpson been fantastic as well recently. You know, they are two big misses in there.
Yeah, massive. I think Haps has been reliable for us for a very long time, and I think we've probably been fortunate enough to keep him because of the injuries and setbacks that he's had, in all honesty. So he's going to be a big miss today, for sure. He's a big presence. And he's a different kind of leader, you know, kind of a bit of a silent assassin, really consistent, really reliable. But he's growing into that as well, which I've really appreciated since I've been playing with him, becoming more of a man and really assuming that responsibility, which has been really good. And Simo's stepped in and you know, has mixed with the lads and has been seamless. You know, as he's come into games, he's also been a very good addition. So yeah, they're both going to be massive misses.
And let's talk about who we do have on the pitch. Then two very competent centre backs in Reg and Brandon Cooper. Maybe not the biggest centre back pairing, but they've got a lot of fight. So it's still a tough duo.
100%. I think we've seen what Brandon can do aerially in the opposition box, and he's a real threat. They're both, you know, don't be deceived by their height. They can definitely compete in the air. But at the same time, Bolton don't have massive aerial presence, so I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. And they're both quality on the ball, and they're both experienced lads at this level. They know what it takes to win games of football, and they're big characters. And I think that's going to be key. I think we spoke about it recently around the recent run of games and the real character that's been shown. The real unity that we have in that squad is seamless in the sense of those that step in, I'm sure they're going to be able to produce exactly what other lads have been doing. So yeah, I'm confident that they're going to do well. Really confident that they'll give a good account of themselves. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this team is not about individuals. It's that squad togetherness. You know, we're pressing as a team, we're defending as a team. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll have a good game.
Certainly is about the squad, and obviously Romani was brought into that squad due to your unfortunate injury, but he's done a good job of, as you said, Jack Simpson's been seamless. Reg has kind of really stepped in and shown his qualities there as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I saw that picture at the end of the game with him having all that scar, blood coming down his face. He's a character, and you know, unfortunate for us, I guess, to nab someone like him who weren't really playing much football while he was at Charlton. He's still got a lot of football in him, and he showed his quality when I think his debut was unbelievable. Like, didn't put a pass or didn't put a foot wrong. So he's a really good addition, and look, there's real competition for places, and that's what's going to drive like standards ultimately at the end of the day. And these lads have been given opportunity to now make the shirt their own. You know, sometimes you need to get rested because you have little knots and niggles, but then, you know, someone comes in, they keep a clean sheet, they score, and then next thing you know, you're not coming back in. So they've got a great opportunity to do so. So yeah, I believe Reg is going to really relish this opportunity and really look to impose himself in this game. Yeah.
Oh, we're talking about the defensive unit though. It's not just Brandon and Romani there. It's every 11 of the players in that squad, and I think nothing typifies that more than the last half an hour of Tuesday night. And we've seen what this team can do defensively to a man.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal defensive display on Tuesday. The last 35 minutes. You mentioned Don Ball's header, which is one of the best things I've seen this season. In truth, and Omar mentioned Reg coming off with blood on his face, and Simpson had ice around his ankle, and it was just an amazing backs to the wall job that we had to do. We knew that Wrexham were going to come on to us strong for that last half an hour, but in truth, we forced them into doing stuff that they evidently didn't want to do. They went long. They were spraying passes out of play here and there as well, and really it was just a case where, you know, we had to be so solid at the back, and there was even opportunities for us. I mean, Abdullah had a very, very presentable opportunity. There was one right at the end of the game where Mark Howard almost got outpaced by Ethan Galbraith running back towards his own goal to try and claim to try and make the pass, which unfortunately didn't come off for us. But we were just so good. I mean, it's not an easy thing to watch because you're just like, where's this one going to go? Where's this one go? But it was all the more satisfying because of it.
It certainly was. And let's talk about goals now, because obviously the goals are what win you the games. And when you've got Charlie Kelman in the form he is, he looks like he's putting anything that's served up in front of him, and he's putting it in the net, isn't he?
100%. I think it's going to be a difficult one for him because as much as we've got strength and depth, we can rotate. Probably the one person you don't really want to take out your team at all is Charlie Kelman, with the way he is in front of goal right now. He does an unbelievable shift for the lads. I think we banter him all the time about chasing Chris Packets. So yeah, but he loves it. He loves putting in the shift, and fortunately for him this time round, like, it's really paying off for him, and he's getting the goals. So yeah, and he's just, confidence is massive when it comes to football, and, you know, he's just got that feel for, you know, being in the right place at the right time, and he's getting winners, and he's just, the last goal he scored at Wrexham was, like, honestly elite. So that's a sign of confidence. So I'm delighted for him to be able to have his effort turn into goals, and so yeah, hopefully long may that continue. But look, there's been a massive contribution from the rest of the lads. Donley's been sensational. He's got real ability, real quality, and I think we all know he's going to have an incredible career. It could be one of those scenarios where we're like, we had him on our team. Like, do you remember that season? Like, so yeah, I do pepper him every day, saying now he's like a star boy, but his mindset, honestly, is unbelievable. Like, he brushes it off and he goes again. He's a mentality monster, as far as I'm concerned. So I think as long as we have lads like them, you know, contributing with goals, and I think it's been a bit of an all-round effort as well. You know, with those that come on, you know, Azim had an opportunity to capitalise then, but, you know, when you see Adj coming on, I don't know, for any other defender, I've played against Adj when he's come on, and it's almost a bit like, oh, you're knackered, you're tired. The last thing you want is someone powerful, fast, strong, that can just be able to, you know, manipulate the ball and create chances. So yeah, I think there's real incredible contributions across the front line, and hopefully we can continue to keep providing them with the services and hopefully score some goals against Bolton today. Yeah.
I wanted to go back and ask about Jamie as well, because it must make it easier for those players all around him to play? Because his quality is evident. Does it make it easier to play the football we're playing when you've got him in there? I know you say Kelman can't be dropped, but
Yeah.
Donley's the name you want to see on the team sheet as well, isn't it?
100%. He makes football look so easy, and it's so hard what he does. Like the picking out of passes, like his forward pass is unreal. Like his weighted pass is a joke. His awareness, it's genuinely on another level. So I remember when he first came in, he gave me a cheeky nutmeg early days. And I was like, who's this lad think he is? But yeah, he's naturally kind of just had that confidence from day one. And he's always kind of backed himself, which is the quality you really, really need for a position like being in the 10 role. So yeah, I think he's got real quality. And funnily enough, beyond what he does on the ball, if you look at the stats, mate, he's right up there. Like as in he works so hard, he puts an unbelievable shift in. And that's massive. That's massive. And I think if he continues to maintain that side of the game, which people would always have question marks, someone who's like, 10, good on the ball, nice on the eyes, do they work hard off the ball? And as far as like modern day 10 goes, he's pretty much got the full package as far as I'm concerned. So yeah.
I wanted to ask, about his mentality as well, because you mentioned about kind of him shaking off like some of the praise that's coming to him. Is it particularly pleasing as a senior player in the team, getting a player from Spurs where perhaps throughout their whole academy life they've been they're playing for one of the biggest clubs in the country, and there's an element when you come on loan where you almost like some players appear to feel like maybe I'm a bit too good for this, or I'm a bit too like, I get to train at Spurs all the time, and why am I here? His mentality appears to be like, no, he's really like humbled himself to come and play, and because he wants to go to that next step.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's probably a bit about who he is as well as a person. I think it's a breath of fresh air to see a young lad that doesn't have this kind of maybe entitled mindset. It's like it's not just a given. He has to work hard at it. And he went through a real tough phase earlier on in the season. He was playing and he was out, and he couldn't get near the starting 11 earlier on in the season. But to be patient, to then take his chance and then to turn it around in the way that he has done just shows the character. A lot of lads would have, spat the dummy out. He would have just said they want to go back to their home team, and he's stuck it out, and he's done very, very well, and he's been very fortunate as well. So it's definitely an indication of who he is, a very determined lad, and it's probably an indication of his aspirations and what he wants to do with himself. Because when you have such big aspirations and such a big drive, the level of focus, you can see that in him. So yeah, I think he's got a very bright future. So if he can maintain that mindset, that mentality, I think we're going to see him in that Spurs side in a couple of seasons. Yeah.
England as well, the way he's going. But looking at the other players in that kind of that three behind the striker, he's got Randall Williams to his left and Nazim to his right, 2 January signings who, if he can be slipping them in, we've already seen the quality they both possess in, and Randall, of course, against his former side. We'd like to see some goals today, wouldn't we? Well,
it's funny with Randall, because always when you get players who come and then they play against their former team. I mean, we know players and people come on the show and stuff who are always just like, I always want to show what they were missing. I always wanted to show what they were missing, and of course we got him from Bolton. Didn't get as much game time as he would have wanted, and and now we're above Bolton in the table. It appears to be kind of the right move for him, and it'll be fun to see. Just fun to see if he kind of elevates himself to that next level this afternoon.
Hopefully he will do. And we're going to come on to Bolton very shortly. But first, just a quick reminder, of course, if you're watching on live on our YouTube stream and you're in the UK, then you can listen along with an audio pass, and international fans, you can pick up a match pass for just £10 to watch here on Orient Live. And of course, Tuesday night sees another away game as the O's travel to Birmingham. That one will be also available here on Orient Live. But then comes the run-in. Next Saturday, we are back here in E10, kicking off against Charlton at 3 o'clock. Tickets are very nearly sold out for that one, but of course there are 6 other big games for you to get involved with as well for the rest of the season. So head over to the Orient website, pick up your tickets, and make sure you don't miss out on something special that's building here in E10. But now let's take a look at the home side and how Bolton Wanderers are lining up. So starting in goal for them is Luke Southwood. In defence, they have William Forrester and George Johnson, with Alex Murphy and Josh Dakers-Cogley in the fullback positions. In the midfield, you have Shabolts Sean, Aaron Morley, the captain Josh Ian, Jay Mattetti and Geordie Asay-Tutu. And leading the line for them is John McAtee. And on the bench, Nathan Baxter, Chris Farino, Joel Randall, George Thomason, Clyde Lolos, Aaron Collins and Victor Adebayojo. Now, it feels like we've played them a lot recently. Bolton, we were discussing just before coming on air about that game that last season at the Tough Sheep Stadium that kind of kick-started a bit of a revival, and it was a really positive performance. But historically, they're a big side, they're a good side, and they'll be looking at the position we're in and probably wanting to nab it off us.
Yeah, 100%. I think with their fan, I think how many tickets they sold? What, 20 odd thousand is it? The atmosphere there is real. It's electric and it's positive if you allow them to start in that way, as we did. And it can be a very daunting task to try and turn things around if you allow them to get a foothold in the game. But at the same time, I think on the flip side, if you're able to really impose yourself, those fans can also be a little bit toxic. And I think that probably might be why Darren Prattley got a red card to avoid the Bolton boos. but yeah, it definitely can be a real tense atmosphere. So yeah, I guess they're going to be looking to do their best to hopefully galvanise their fans to do so. They've made a lot of changes, so it'll be interesting to see how they start and how we deal with the occasion. Yeah.
Under new management, of course, was there for a long time. Did a good job getting them out of League Two. Stephen Schumacher now not had too much time to do any real work on the training ground, but what are you expecting from them? I mean,
the interesting thing about what Schumacher's done in the 4 games that he's been in charge, so they've won 2 and lost 2 since he's come in, is that it's been really interesting. They've changed up their formation so much. So they were like 3-4-1-2 earlier this week, 3-5-2, 4-4-1-1 they've done. And it looks like perhaps they're doing 4-5-1 this afternoon. So it suggests one of two things: either Stephen Schumacher's a good tactician, I think he is, or he doesn't quite know exactly how he wants to set his team up. What's for certain is that there will be goals in this game. I'm not predicting a 0-0 or anywhere close to it. They've scored 10 goals in their last 3 games, Bolton. So we need to be, going back to our defence, we need to be really, really on it this afternoon. But they also leak goals as well. They've conceded 48 this season, which is the same amount as Burton have, and Burton are in 21st in the league. So they really it will be probably quite an entertaining game. Omar's absolutely bang on about the crowd. Quite nice to have to play in front of such a big crowd, especially with this run of fixtures. We've got Birmingham on Tuesday night, which we'll come on to, I'm sure, later in the afternoon. But to get used to that, to get used to that mentality and having to elevate yourself at these away games, I think what was so pleasing on Tuesday night was that we played the game and not the occasion. I know that's a cliche, but we go to Wrexham and we know what that whole club is about because it's so well publicised. But we just played our own game and we stuck to it, and we need to basically do the same again this afternoon. We're
watching some clips of Dan Happy here. It was a good example of some of that defending that we displayed on Tuesday night, but then this is the Bolton defence. And you're Charlie Kelman in the form you're in. Razim Abdullah, he looks full of confidence. Randall Williams will be up for it. Jamie Donley, I can go on. You'll be looking at this and thinking you want to bust the action.
100%, yeah. As much as they are where they are in the table, they've definitely leaked goals. So you'd like to think that they're kind of almost a bit like Peterborough side. They leak quite a lot of goals, but they do score a few. So yeah, if you're in an attacking lineup, you're 100% looking to capitalise on an occasion like today, and I think the boys are going to relish it. They want to play in stadiums like this week in, week out. They want to play in front of fans like this week in, week out. So they're going to be right up for it, and I'm sure if we're able to get a goal or two, I'm really confident we'll be able to step away this game.
A bit of revenge for that game back in December as well.
Not wrong. I've got scars. PTSD.
What are you expecting from this Bolton side? Then it's a little bit unpredictable, isn't it?
Yeah, unpredictable at this stage. I think it's interesting. He might have a knock, but Aaron Collins has been dropped to the bench and he's got 15 goals for them this season. They're going with McAtee up top. Quite funny that in the space of 2 weeks we've played against two McAtees from the same family, one playing for Man City and one playing for Bolton. But he's a threat. He's got 9 goals and 4 assists this season as well himself. So and then Josh Sheehan in centre midfield is one of those, I think, just a great technician who kind of keeps those games ticking along. We saw it a lot when we were playing against Newport County for a couple of seasons. I think he's a very, very good player at this level.
He certainly is. I'm guessing you've been around the training ground. We haven't been there that much with all the away games, I'm guessing. But we're talking about Bolton and being a big side and what to expect from them. But at this stage, it's, you know, we're the team that people are looking at. We're the ones that just need to focus on our own game, aren't it? Isn't it?
100%. Yeah, I think it's always been about us, and I think for as long as we go under the radar, I think that's a good place to be. You want to be the dark horse that sneaks into the playoffs that no one takes for seriously, and then, you know, no one's really done their homework on. But we have been on a really good run of games, in really good form, and I think teams are well aware of the threat we possess. It's only just the other day, I think the Mansfield manager said the best side he's ever played against in the league, and he's come up against Birmingham. So we've been getting our accolades and our praise for the performances we've been putting in, and yeah, I think we are making a bit of a name for ourselves. We've got a lot of young, talented lads that really want to kick on, so they're going to want to maintain that and sustain that for sure. Well,
it looks like the atmosphere's building up at the Tough Sheet Stadium. I mean, you look at these 3 games on paper, Andrew, Wrexham, Bolton, Birmingham, you'd have probably been happy with 1 or 2 points. We've got 3 on Tuesday night. We go here today, and how big could 3 points be?
I mean, massive, especially going to that game on Tuesday. But those 3 points now feel like almost. I'm sure that the lads will be thinking, oh, that, you know, they're in the past. I mean, it's got to us to a really good position, but there's no kind of. In some ways, there's no greater 3 points than other 3 points. Like, it's all just wins. So we need to hopefully, you know, take something from this game for sure. Hopefully it's 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points would be fantastic. Well, Don Ball is leading the boys out up in Bolton, so it's time now to hand over to our commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.
Tough street. I'm just